his souls have been claimed. He, the darkness, the fear approaches.
It's you all. Your presence before me on this night has a price that must be paid. Surrender me. The night is ours, and you eat mine. Breaking us, soul directors,
got a pretty smile on your face. All I wanted to do was make people smile. And that's so much. Yes! All I wanted to do was make people smile. And that's so much.
Multiple hull breaches detected. No escape pods available.
Surrender willingly. The night is dark, and you is mine. The gatekeeper has spoken. Silver
I'll say a prayer for you. Good luck, my friends. Lord, there's you.
Your soul.
Where do we start? Welcome back. It's been 365-ish kind of days since the last check-in, the last video on this channel. So, hi, welcome back. If you're new here, if you're here directed by other Fright Nights videos, hi, welcome. If it's your first time seeing one of these, I do apologize in advance. I do get a little bit of friendly criticism in my videos. I am not an influencer. I am not somebody who sucks up to the corporation. I give my actual thoughts on the event, whether that jeopardizes myself in any situation. It doesn't really mean a thing to me since these videos only come out once a year. It has no impact on my personal life. So if you agree, fantastic. If you don't, that's fine too. Everybody has their own opinions. So Fright Nights 2023, we're back at it again. First point I want to make is it's so close. Like, this event is getting close to something I think it can be. It will never be at the status levels of the HHNs or Not Scary Farm or Mickey's Not So Scary. It's not at that level of the big Americas. But I feel like it's close to what it needs to achieve here in Australia. And I can't pinpoint the thing that it needs to get it there. It's so close to being it, but I don't know what that thing is that'll get it there. So that's what I want to premise with, is it's getting there, it's not quite there. The issues I've had in the past are still there. There is still empty hallways, and I am constantly on the Movie World live streams on TikTok. So if you've seen my name come up, hi, that's me, Annoying Luke. Before the event started, that sentiment came up in the chat. I didn't respond to it. I just laughed at it. There is still empty hallways. The only reason there isn't as many empty hallways, which I'll get into a little bit later, is because of the writer's strike. Australia was obviously impacted as well with the writer's strike. Very much on the Gold Coast, that is movie making central because of the studios. The stage designers were affected by that. So in an assistance to help them out, they hired them for Fright Nights, and that's how we got the amazing rooms of Circus, and Hellship. And probably Deceased as well, but I have issues with Deceased on both nights. So some didn't have empty hallways, some did. And it was clear by which mazes that got the most loving, why and how, because of the writer's strike. Let's talk about Deceased first. This was the hyped up maze of this year. It had the most advertisement, the most inclusion in merchandise, advertisements, the ad, basically they were forcing Deceased on everybody. My first run through of this maze was via the TikTok live on the Friday night, the very first Friday night, which I believe was the 6th. And as soon as I saw this maze, I went, is this where they blew their budget? In licensing, in I don't know what else, in advertising. Is this where all the budget went this year? Like we had with it, with the large animatronic that cost a couple of $1,000s that you only saw for half a second. Like, is this where it went? And why? Maze was something that could be included in the daily ticket. It was the first night, was the 7th that I went, which was the first Saturday night. This maze was so bright. Like, there were so many lights on in this maze. Like, there was no darkness in it. You could see things coming from a mile away. One of the run-throughs I did, there was 2 staff in there that had to stand in a particular area because of a slip hazard, possibly. Like, the first night, I just went, what is this maze? Especially when I saw it on the TikTok live and I went, what is this maze? This isn't a maze. This is just paying for the IP of DC World. And this line consistently had a long line. And they had the line inside of Stunt Driver, which wrapped around the outside of the track. All it was their main characters as zombies. I've never read the comic book that it's based on, or the graphic novel that it's based on. But I have a strong inkling that this story isn't just the DC characters as zombies. Like, I feel like there was something missing, because that's all it was. Like, if in the videos that are in this video of that maze, all it was growling, except for Harlequin and Joker. I don't even think any other place in that area had any other speaking parts in it. All it was growling, which it could have been any zombie layover at all. Second night I went through, last night was the last night of Fright Nights. I turned the lights down, which it was an improvement. They added a few more zombie generic characters in the rooms, because the first night it was just the main characters. There was nothing else in these rooms. And then they added an additional stock standard zombie character in these rooms. So that improved it a little bit. The only jump scare I got out of this entire maze was last night, going through the Green Lantern. Somebody dressed in the green, like, forestry tree suit was hiding behind a tree and jumped out. And I wasn't expecting that, and that was the only time I got scared in that maze. I also had issues with the main characters having neon coloured earplugs, because in the black lit rooms it was obvious they were wearing earplugs. It's like, why didn't you get the skin coloured earplugs? That, like, did you not test it when you did this maze in the run through, that you could obviously see the neon yellow earplugs in these characters' ears? Like, that just made no sense. Very bottom of the list. Can't believe we have to have another year of it. Is Deceased. I hated it from the start. Like, it had no thrill to it at all. It was their most pushed maze. Why? I don't know. Maybe because they paid a lot for the IP. Little fun fact, I am actually in the advertisement for Fright Nights for this year, like half a millisecond out of the whole night that we shot to about 2 AM. One take me being front and center and the camera panning to me the entire time did not make it in there, which is fine by me. I rocked up wanting to be one of the blurred people in the background, and that's what I got. The surprise of the night was the zombie Wonder Woman, and as soon as she walked out, I went, what are they doing? What are they doing? This doesn't exist in this event. And then when it came out that it was a maze, it just ruined it further for me. So that's a fun fact. I already knew about it from the advertisement. So then second at the bottom of the list is The Conjuring. I hated it last year. I hated it this year. Nothing about this was scary for me. Some of the rooms had obvious scares in them. Empty hallways. I am not counting screens in a hallway as a filled hallway. Like that is an empty hallway. There's nothing happening in it. It's not themed, it's stock standard grey wall with a screen on it. That even Deceased had empty hallways. Deceased, their biggest paid maze, had empty hallways. I even had at one point a scare actor follow me down one of those empty hallways because I was the only person in that area. But it wasn't scary because it was just stock standard grey wall. Nothing in it. No screens, nothing. Back to The Conjuring, same thing, empty hallways, don't care for them. Why they have them, why, like it's a waste of space that you can utilize to further the maze. I just don't get them. Like, have theming in them, per hellship, per circus, something, just not empty. Like, don't care about this maze. It has a great entryway with all the replicas of the Warren collectibles, and then it just goes shit. I'm glad that they don't have lines standing in that way for a long time anymore. It's kind of like you walked in, got 3 seconds of speech from the person, and then into the maze you went. But I literally did it once on the first night, once on the last night. Have no cares for it, glad that it's gone. Then we move on to Death Row, my most favourite maze of last year. I loved it this year. Unfortunately, actually, I take that back. I'm going to switch my ranking here. Hellship. I expected more from Hellship, from what they were putting out there. I appreciated the theming in this entire maze. As I said, Writer's Strike gave us set designers, gave us this. So there wasn't an empty hallway. Something was always themed, like water decaying walls through the entire thing. Furniture that looked like it was water hardened and like just rotting from water, like everywhere. Everywhere was like that. That I appreciated. The costumes of the Blackfish people were great. The first night they didn't have the sailors, and if you didn't go through the fast track pre-show, you wouldn't have cared or to understand why they weren't there. But in the last night, they had the sailors in there, which made sense to the story that was given in the pre-show. This was a good maze, but I didn't care for it. It felt short as well. It felt very short compared to the others. Not sure why, because it was the same length as Dollhouse was. It was in the same shed, same length. It just felt shorter. And I can't pinpoint why. But good maze, not the best. Appreciated the theming. We then had Death Row, which my baby from last year, my favourite maze from last year. Still great again, appreciate it a lot. I'm happy that it's back. I had more fun with it on the first night than I did on the last night. And I don't know why. Another thing I can't pinpoint, there's a lot of things I can't pinpoint. Just the vibes were different. I think maybe because it was the last night, they were just like, it's finally done. The first night I had so much fun in that maze, especially in my last run through, where the first room, I had somebody saying hi friend and bye friend all the way through to the body bags, and then the body bags giving me the most weirdest jump scare, even though the person was standing right in front of me and I knew they were right there. Like, it was just possibly one of the best run through I've ever had in Death Row, and I really liked that one. But I spent more time in Circus on the last night than I did in Death Row. Third, Death Row, I appreciate. Sad it's going, but let's see what comes next year. Then we have Circus. My baby. This is top tier for me. It had clowns. We all know I love clowns. We had the clowns in a maze about teenagers being killed in a circus. Like, everything that could have compulated perfectly for me in a maze was in this maze. The fact that it was another writer's strike set designers doing the sets in this maze just made it that even more greater. Like, these rooms were so well done. I am super appreciated of this maze. Even the standby line had the most beautiful murals in their entry hallway. Like, there was a tent out the front of it. Like, the theming of this maze was just top tier, top tier. And then you had the pre-show, which probably my favorite tier, like pre-show out of all of them that they had. It reminded me a bit of 1,000 Corpses and a bit of Texas Chainsaw. Something about that old Southern cop not being a true cop and helping the evil person. Something about that I enjoy, and this had that in there. Plus the absolute freebies that you got in that room as well. I now have some of my best memories of Fright Nights from this maze. The first night I went through, enjoyed it. I didn't know if I truly liked it. There was a point in one go through where me and a clown were dancing in the fun mirror room. Small things like that were in that maze on the first night, but it didn't solidify my love for this maze until last night. I've never had so much fun with the actors in the maze like I did last night, including the pre-show. Obviously, something about the way I was wearing my outfit last night made it recognizable that it was me about the millionth time I went through. So it was fun to see the pre-show actors just be like, oh, it's you again, kind of thing, and just playing on that. And even in the Hellship one that happened too, I really appreciated that. But this last night was just perfect. Like, I couldn't have asked for better memories from Fright Nights than last night through Circus. One run through I called him my friend. I don't know what he truly looked like under the mask, but it was obvious that with him by the height of the two main clowns in that pre-show. He interacted with me on one go through of the pre-show a lot, while the other two, it was their first time, not my first time obviously, and he just kind of kept finding me in the maze. There was one go where he followed me through the whole maze, and then at one point I just kind of went, let's go, let's hold hands and go through the rest of it together, which, like, that will always stand out for me. And then also in that same go through, there is a section where it's two old style 1920s sort of trailers side by side, so they can jump scare you on either side, and all those clowns just like came together as like one big group of friends. Like, it was just chef's kiss. Like, that was amazing. Like, I appreciated that a lot. Here in the night, where I had one clown, I'm pretty sure was from the second room, skipping with me through the entire rest of the maze, and he skipped all the way past me out of the maze as well. So I think he was like crossing over shift or something like that, but that was also quite memorable as well. So to all the actors in that maze, thank you for like making it fun. Like, it wasn't, for me, it wasn't quite scary. Obviously there was a group I was in where people were absolutely scared and falling over. But for me, I love clowns. I love scary clowns. I love gory clowns. I love clowns. Clowns are my thing. So to have this maze and to have those interactions and to have such great actors within that maze that interacted in the way that they did, that on top of that, with the set designs of the different rooms, like, this whole maze was a lovely kind of gift with a nice bow on it, as you will, a spotted clown-like bow. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing that maze again next year, and just hopefully having the same enjoyment that I have this year with that maze. Like, I truly appreciated all the clowns, including the clowns in the sideshow, like, games area. I had some great interactions in that area too. All of you who played a clown, who were selected for a clown, I really appreciated it. You guys did an amazing job. Like, congratulations. You should be extremely proud of yourself 2 thumbs up. We go on to the pre-shows. The way that it was advertised on the website said that there was secret rooms. My thoughts when it comes to secret rooms is what we were given on the Terror Tour, where they were secret rooms where you interacted with certain things in the maze by pulleys, by sounds, by those kinds of things while people were going through the maze. Like, you could scare people while in the maze. These secret rooms were pre-shows. They weren't secret, and they were literally pre-shows. Deceased was giving the backstory of what the maze was, of the zombie virus going through Cyborg, and that was it. That one was roughly about 2 minutes long, so the fast track didn't feel like fast track because you weren't going through it fast, because you had to wait to go into a pre-show. The first night they did them in smaller groups, so it took longer too. Thankfully they made them larger on the final night, because I can tell you the circus one on the first night, I think I waited a good half an hour, 45 minutes in fast track to get through on more than one occasion. This was the backstory of the maze. Death Row, Conjuring didn't have a pre-show. Hellship was in a room that was like you were going down into like the ocean to go find the missing sailor boat people, because they went to go find the Demon Diamond, which is the person at the end of the maze is the person who holds the Demon Diamond. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But it was still enjoyable. I did enjoy Hellship's pre-show. It didn't take too long. It was enjoyable. Crowd interaction, it was great. I don't know if it was just 2 guys who rotated, but they were fantastic. The first night, my last go, I was the only person in the room, and it was good to just bounce off, like already knowing kind of like what the monologue was, to just jump back and forth and have that interaction based on that script. Last night when I went through by myself again, it was kind of like, do you want to hear this monologue again? No, it's probably like the 30th time I've heard this monologue. And he's like, you're just here for the vibrations, aren't you? Like, that was a good thing in that room. They had the floor vibrate as it was simulating going down. So we just counted down from 3 and had the floor vibrate, and then he let me through. So I did appreciate that. My favorite, like I said, was circus. The 2 gentlemen who did the pre-show monologue, you guys did so well. Enjoyed every time I went through. I enjoyed the clowns obviously in that room, but even as it's coming back next year, I don't want to spoil too much if you didn't get to go through the pre-show, if you didn't get fast track. These pre-shows were only if you had fast track. They were not in the standard queue. It was a separate thing for fast track only. Like I said, the first night it took quite a while to get through Fast Track for Circus because of this pre-show. And on the first night, they were only letting in groups of 4 to 6 per pre-show. So it was just taking so long to get through the crowd, through that monologue, to then go through the maze. But I enjoyed that pre-show a million times. I loved going through it and the different interactions myself got, the rest of the people in the group got, and my last run through with just myself going through the pre-show, as soon as I opened that curtain, it was just like, oh, it's her again. But not in a bad way. It was just like, oh, she already knows this whole thing. And once again, it was like, do you want, kind of insinuating, do I want to hear this whole monologue again? Or you're just happy to just go through and have this small interaction here? And I'm like, I would have loved to hear the monologue again, but I know it's like a tiring one. It's such a long one with crowd participation, and it's great to see it in a bigger group, but I think when it was just on my own, it was nice to just have that kind of banter, like already knowing what the story was, what was going on, and to collect my circus tickets. Circus tickets were such a great memento. The only thing I wish they did with those circus tickets, which a suggestion for next year, Movie World, like I'll show you. So this is the circus ticket. I have a whole collection now of these circus tickets. As you can see, it gives the circus name, admit 1, and a ticket number. My suggestion for next year, these are a fantastic memento, and they're only given out maybe 1 or 2 in the pre-show group. So if you get one, it's kind of like a very special memento. My thoughts on these tickets, every single ticket has the same number. It doesn't say that it's from Movie World or Fright Nights. It has nothing, like even on the back, they could have put the Fright Nights emblem on the back here. They're probably cheaply made. They're just cardboard. There's no periphery on this side here. It's just literally one piece of cardboard, like very thick paper. All the ticket numbers are the same too, so there's nothing different about the ticket number. They're always 1320. My suggestion on these tickets, like I said, putting the Fright Night emblem somewhere on there, and having unique ticket numbers, because that would be cool. You like one, like it could be a 1 of 1 ticket, like a very good collectible of Fright Nights. So I love these tickets. I've got heaps of them obviously, but just to have them like something to recognize that they are from Fright Nights, and to have something unique about each and every one of the tickets, as in the ticket number, or something to say that it's 1 for 1. Like that would my only suggestion on these tickets. But I loved the idea of the tickets and the way that you collected the ticket as well, which I won't give away. So how did I get to go through all these pre-shows on multiple occasions on the one night? On both nights. As like last year, if you purchased the either rides and mazes or just mazes fast track, you could only use that once during the whole night. So once you scan, this year they used it as scanning point, a QR code on the app. But once you used that, that was done. Like you couldn't reuse that. How did I go through the mazes, through the pre-shows, through the fast track on multiple times on each night? Subscribe to Movie World's TikTok. That was the only way that you could get the specialized band. For $10, getting a free unlimited fast track band, which include mazes and rides. For $10 a month, so if you spread that out on 30 days, it's cents to the dollar. You got probably, what did they cost this year? About roughly $130 for fast track. $10 for unlimited, both rides and mazes for $10. And you had to, basically what you had to do was be subscribed to the TikTok, the Movie World TikTok page thing, and then go find Luke. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have been like the infamous Luke. Who the fuck is Luke? Luke runs the social media page for Village Roadshow as well as the TikTok and Jara. So if you went and stalked down Luke or Jara, depending on who was on the night, usually it was Luke, you could get a wristband if you were a subscriber. If you weren't a subscriber, you could still get like the riding backwards on DC Rivals, or underground passes, which on the first night Luke gave me both an unlimited wristband and an underground nightclub pass as well. For Luke, I paid for fast track on the first night and then pretty much used the wristbands with both nights. If I wouldn't have gotten through all the mazes if I wanted to on the second night, even if I wanted to. Like those lines were just long, they weren't really moving fast until like towards the end of the night. So I really appreciate wristbands 100%. I would not have ever paid for the underground nightclub. I think it was like $60 or something like that, which gave you the entry to the nightclub and 2 free drinks. I had one of the cocktails and it was absolute horrible. Yeah, highly underwhelming, this nightclub. Wouldn't have paid for it anyway. I'm glad that I could experience it with that pass. What they're trying to replace the Terror Tour with, that is a very stupid idea because nothing can replace the Terror Tour. Probably the best product for Fright Nights that they ever had. Back this year, why, who knows? It was one of the biggest questions before the event on the TikTok lives. Where was the Terror Tour? I wasn't alone in it. There was heaps of people asking this. And suggest another thing for Fright Nights is to bring it back. People will pay whatever price that you are giving for the Terror Tour, as long as it includes the unlimited fast track. Because if you're just going to offer the one-off in that package, it's not worth it. Pay dinner and drink, like sodas, and the exclusive little maze thing on its own. Bring that whole thing back. Like, that was obviously missed by a lot of people. Me, not on my own. So, ticket, Ultimate Terror Tour, Platinum Terror Tour, all the Terror Tours, just bring them back. And then the other thing that was highly advertised was the overlay of Wild West Falls. Overlay. This was not an overlay. This was just pretty red and blue lights and the ride in the dark with the screen not working in the lift again. I did not go on it on the first night purely because it was like 13 degrees out. I did not want to get wet. I was already freezing. Last night it was also freezing, but I was like, I'm just gonna bite the bullet. Hopefully I don't get too wet. I got wet. I was freezing for about an hour. Like the 2 nights that I went and it was freaking freezing. But c'est la vie. Apparently there was meant to be actors in the line. Never saw them. Don't know if they were ever there, but if you were in the actual long line and you saw them, let me know in the comments section down below to say that they were actually there. But that was something that was said was happening. Never saw it. Apparently next year, if it runs again at night time, they're going to do an overlay, even though this was meant to be an overlay. We'll see if they improve on it next year to include an overlay. Even if they put like actors in the ghost town, like that would have been just something in addition to pretty lights. I don't know. It just seemed like they were promoting something that wasn't what they said it was going to be. Holding area of Death Row, Conjuring and Circus. Not circus, circus. The huge television screen. From that area up to Hellship. But up at Hellship, all it was playing was the logo of Hellship. There was nothing else playing on it. So the cattle area of those 3 mazes was just standing in those lines for like probably an hour or so more. And the lines were confusing as well. Like they were all squished together in a way that didn't make sense. So, I don't know, like my hope one day is that they can utilize the studios. I know that they still do movies and stuff like that, but even this year, with the writer's strike, with the actor's strike, I don't believe there would have been anything running in the studios at that time. They could have utilized a studio space, even if it was one studio that they could have used. They could have used a huge space there for one of the mazes and not have everybody cattled in this one area. I did appreciate that they opened a back area between Doomsday and the cattle area because of the Wizard of Oz precinct being built. You couldn't go through Superman area to get there. So I did appreciate that instead of having to go all the way through the Wild West area and up and then back the same way. The 2 entrances need to be there. I appreciated that there was no end rave unless I purposely missed it on both nights at 11 o'clock or 11:15. Main Street was not packed. It was just the stragglers coming out from mazes, and the car park was not ridiculous to get out. So I don't know if it was myself that somehow missed it on both nights, but the fact that I didn't have to stand in a rave at the end of the night, that I couldn't ask for something more better, that a suggestion that I said that annoyed me every single year up until this point wasn't there. Like I was so happy when I was leaving on the first night going, this is a ghost town. Like there's no rave, annoying rave that I need to stand through at the end of the night. So happy about that. That's my thoughts on the whole event this year. My suggestions. Do I talk about how they don't have any, how the scare zones still don't make sense and there's still not enough people? I believe I will never get this in my lifetime of going to Fright Nights. I don't believe there is going to be enough scare actors in these areas to make it legit. Main Street is still just random things that they have left over, like people from the Purge that they don't have licensing for, so they can't say that they're from the Purge, but they're obviously from the Purge. And the random devils and the sliders and the masks seem to be getting better, but this whole Main Street area just doesn't make sense to me on any level. Clown area, always good. Hillbillies, I don't have any cares about it. It's good for people, people enjoy it. I have no cares for it. Like the 3 sections of scare zones, as Halloween Horror Nights would call them, kind of have scare zones. We just have people roaming. So, is what it is. I don't see that ever changing. Sad for me, but can't win them all. Like I said, like it's close to being something that it's trying to be. I just can't pinpoint what that thing is. Utilized the Roxy Theatre like they have in years past for upsell ticket items. That could have been used this year. It's close to something that it needs to be. It's just not quite there yet. It'll be interesting next year what Death Row and Conjuring will be replaced with. And I don't see the caliber of the mazes being as well done as Circus or Hellship will be, because I believe the Actors Guild strike is close to being over, maybe, possibly, but it'll likely be done by next year though. So the writer strike is done, so production will probably pick up, so they're going to lose the actual trained and amazing set designers from the studio side of things. So we're not going to get the level of what we got in those 2 mazes again, which is sad, because those set designs were just so good. So good. So what was your thoughts on this year if you were going to go? Your favourite maze, your least favourite maze? What's your thoughts on Deceased and that line? Let me know. And I hope you have a fantastic year. Another 365 days will probably go past again until I see you again. But that's it for Fright Nights 2023. Hope you have a great day. Bye.